Borderlands 4 is here and it has been getting a lot of slack because it is a modern game, which means it is required to run like utter ass. And because Borderlands 4 is getting all of this backlash, Randy Pitchford is there like a white knight to defend the game. And because Randy Pitchford is addicted to Twitter, he adheres to the rules of Twitter, which is that if you think you're right about a topic, you are right. It doesn't matter what other people think. All that matters is your own opinion. And by this rule, it obviously means that Randy Pitchford is right about everything. This is why Randy Pitchford is so cool. This is why he is my hero. All the guys don't want to be like him, and the women run away from him. Borderlands 4 is a game that seemingly is actually good. I am about 14 hours into the game and I would say that it is an improvement from Borderlands 3 at this point. However, despite all the praise and all of the good positive feedback that Borderlands 4 is getting, Randy Pitchford has decided to focus on the one thing that people are complaining about, and that is of course the performance issues. Now, with so many Unreal Engine games coming out and running like utter ass, I don't think it is that surprising that Borderlands 4 is yet another Unreal Engine game that runs like ass. I think the majority of people would have probably expected this, except maybe for one man, and that man is Randy Pitchford. But despite the performance issues, the game is still performing pretty well, at least in terms of the numbers on Steam. People are still playing this game despite its performance issues, and maybe, just maybe, as the CEO of the company responsible for making this game, it would be wise to not piss people off. Maybe you could thank people for supporting you for playing the game despite the fact that they are experiencing performance issues. Maybe you could say that you are working hard to fix the performance issues that people are currently experiencing. Maybe, just maybe, you could keep quiet and not say anything at all in order to avoid saying something stupid and therefore ruining your reputation and your company's reputation even further. So did Randy Pitchford keep quiet and not say anything stupid in order to avoid damaging his reputation? No. Instead, he went on a crazy rant, as he always does, complaining about the people complaining about a very legitimate issue. Bear in mind, this is the same guy that tried, key emphasis on the word tried, to defend the Borderlands movie. So, you know, that's the guy we are dealing with here. So let's have a look at some of the very logical and level-headed tweets made by Randy. Every PC gamer must accept the reality of the relationship between their hardware and what the software they are running is doing. Amen, Randy. You tell them. You tell these fools about the relationship between their $5,000 gaming PC that is specifically built to run games on a 2K monitor and the unoptimized $70 program they have just purchased. You tell them about the relationship. You absolutely tell them, Randy. You tell these fools. Just ignore the community note attached to your tweet because there's absolutely nothing logical in there and it's just a bunch of people crying over nothing. Just, you know, ignore that. Now this next one, this one is a handful, okay? So stick with me here. The minimum and recommended specs are published. The most common hardware is a 4-year-old cell phone. Borderlands 4 is a premium game made for premium gamers. Just as Borderlands 4 cannot run on a PlayStation 4, it cannot be expected to run on too old PC hardware. Unlike on PlayStation and Xbox, we cannot prevent a PC player with suboptimal hardware for the game try to play it. So some try and get mad, and some have actual issues we need to fix, and some need to learn how their PCs work at the high end for the specific game in 2025 and use the tools available to them to find the right balance between frame rate, resolution and graphics features. This is not a game made to run on 10-year-old PCs. This game uses the full capabilities of modern bus, CPU and GPU. If you are trying to drive a monster truck with a leaf blower's motor, you're going to be disappointed. If you discover your system can't run the game well by accident or wishful thinking, and or don't want to try to mess with settings to make things good enough for you, please use the refund feature on Steam rather than have a subpar experience. And here we have Randy coming in with yet some more words of wisdom, telling those idiots running their old hardware, using their old GPUs like those RTX 5070s, which are ancient at this point, struggling to run the game, telling them facts, telling them the stuff they don't want to hear. I love how Randy acts that the only people complaining about this are people that are too blind, too stupid or too moronic to look at the minimum requirements for this game. I'm sure everybody complaining about this game are people that are trying to run this game on their dad's laptop with an Intel UHD graphics card, as opposed to the actual people complaining about this who have legitimate and more than capable PCs to run this game on the max settings, and yet they can't. And I love how he actually acknowledges that there are people with legitimate complaints. Maybe Randy, maybe those people with legitimate complaints are the people in the majority. Has that thought maybe crossed your mind? And of course, this tweet is nicely capped off with a nice dosage of entitlement. If you're having problems with our game, you can simply fix those problems by just refunding it. We don't need your business. I am Randy. I am too cool for your problems. You fucking dickhead. Now there's one more tweet I want to focus on, which I think is just beautiful, in my opinion. Code your own engine and show us how it's done. Please, we will be your customer when you pull it off. The people doing it now are clearly dumb and don't know what they are doing, and all the support and recommendations and code and architecture from the world's greatest hardware companies and tech companies working with the world's greatest real-time graphics engine coders don't know what you seem to know. Sarcasm. Ooh, Randy. Ooh. Now I did find this article by IGN which says that for an Unreal Engine 5 game, Borderlands 4 runs worse than most others, which I think is very interesting. Now in this article they basically go over some of the stuttering and popping that the game has. I'm not going to go over anything, but basically these experts that very clearly know nothing, these experts advised against playing this game on the highest graphical settings as it runs like absolute ass. But clearly these experts are just morons and don't know anything, because Randy is the only genius on this planet and what he says is always true. Now of course there are many more examples of Randy's absolute delusions in regards to the Borderlands 4 performance issues, but there are also way more examples of Randy Pitchford just being delusional. All the way back in the Duke Nukem Forever days and that shitty Alien game they have made, Randy Pitchford was there defending those games.
It was probably one of those 7.5 kind of games. So if you want a 9 and you expect a 9 and you give people a 7, then they give you a 5.
With all due respect, what the fuck are you talking about?
It is very clear that Randy Pitchford is absolutely deluded. He simply can't take criticism. Criticism doesn't exist in his world. You either think the game is good or at least decent, or you're wrong. That is how Randy Pitchford works. And I think it's exactly why Randy Pitchford is one of the most disliked knobheads in the gaming industry. So to conclude this video, Borderlands 4 is seemingly a surprisingly good game, but it has performance issues. Randy Pitchford is a delusional dickhead. Randy Pitchford himself might have some sort of performance issues, and Randy Pitchford sucks. My balls. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.